appreciated it. So.
Halfway back there. The pitch to Aramis. There's a drive. Deep left center. Cubs win. Montero drives one in the air. Deep right field. It's got a chance. Grand slam. Way back it might be. It could be. Cubs win. Cubs win. Cubs win. Holy cow.
The Dingers podcast is on the air. I'm your host, Mitch. I'm here with Jeff and Jake. We're going to break down game 1 and game 2 of the Cleveland series. Cubs have dropped both of those. And we'll do a little preview of what do the Cubs need to do in these last 2 months, month and a half, to be able to give us a shot at making the playoffs. But first, we want to talk a little bit about the B4 Bat app. It's Mitch from the Dingers podcast. Today, I want to talk to you about something that's truly transformed the way that I, as a coach, work with young players, and especially my own kids. I'm talking about the B4 Bat app. For those who haven't heard of the B4 Bat app, it is an incredible tool that lets you track your exit velocity, launch angle, and more, all from your iPhone. No fancy bat sensor or expensive equipment needed. Just your iPhone, a tripod, and you're good to go. I use the B4 Bat app daily with my son and daughter, and the results have been phenomenal. It provides valuable data and video feedback that helps fine-tune their swing. My son absolutely loves it. He gets a kick out of watching his videos of his swing and especially enjoys tracking his exit velocity. It's like a game for him, trying to find that perfect launch angle to maximize his exit velocity. For me, it's been amazing to see how much this app has really helped improve their swings. And that immediate feedback and data that they get are a game changer. So if you're looking to get that valuable data and insight for your own slugger and for them to hit maybe some more dingers this season, I highly recommend checking out B4 Batting app. You can go to b4.app.com or search B4 Batting in the App Store. Trust me, you and your kids will love it. Now, let's get back to hitting some more dingers. It'd be nice if the Cubs use the B4 Bat app. We might have some more offense to show for us instead of one run tonight. But yeah, B4 Bat app, it's been great. Go check it out. Useful tool if you're a parent or if you're a coach. Great tool to use. I use it with my son, my daughter, as well as our travel team baseball team, and now our fall league team. So it's been fun. So make sure you check it out. B4 Bat app. Cubs lose game 2 tonight, 2-1, a tough one. When you go into the series, you're 3 games back, you're feeling good. You just had a good week. We swept the White Sox. We took care of the Royals. We're sitting pretty good. Or was it Royals? No, Twins. Sorry, Twins. I said that we would lose one game last week, and we lose one game last week, and we lost that one game to the Twins. We did what we needed to do. And then to come here into Cleveland, I remember good memories from Cleveland back in 2016. Did something happen?
The greatest game ever played was on a Wednesday in Cleveland.
Oh.
I think we won the World Series.
Tomorrow's Wednesday, though.
Yeah.
Today wasn't that great a game, and it was the Tuesday,
Yep.
Jeff.
Maybe the Cubs maybe that'll mean the Cubs will win tomorrow on a Wednesday.
Let's hope so. Salvage a win at the end of the series. That'd be nice.
But to see them come in here to Cleveland and get up 3-0 yesterday, fall behind 7-3, battle back, tie it up 8-8, and then lose 9-8. That was a tough game yesterday. And I want to put the blame a little bit on Craig Counsell. What are you guys thinking or thoughts on that?
Tell us about it. You kind of alluded to it in the pregame, talked a little bit about it, but I think you made some good points.
So one, you see the first two games, Cleveland's trying to win the division. They're playing with a sense of urgency. They're pitching Clase. I think Clase has pitched in 5 straight games now to close out games. Like, they want to win games. They're not going to put it up in their relief to anybody else. They need to win games if they're going to win their division. The Cubs, on the other hand, you pitch Merryweather in the 7th. He labors through it, gets kind of lucky, a hard hit ball to get out of the inning. And then you come back the 8th and you start him off again. And what does he do? He gives up 3 rockets of double and 2 singles and drives in the winning run. And then when it's too late, Counsell pulled a David Ross special. When it's too late, then you put in the right guy that you should have started the inning with. You bring in Lopez. The Cubs are coming off a rest day on Sunday. They had a rest day Thursday. Their bullpen is rested. And you have Tyson Miller available. You have Lopez available. You have Smiley available. All those guys, 7th, 8th, are in that circle of trust of pitchers that I would trust to pitch in a high leverage situation because they've proven it. And you're going with Merryweather, who is great, but right now, since coming off of injury, has not shown to be that guy. Every time he's come out, he's kind of labored. Even his last outing they pitched previous to this one, he gave up a couple runs. He labored through it. It hasn't been smooth for Merryweather. So that was my thoughts. I think that Counsell needs to play with more of a sense of urgency and play the right guys, especially the bullpen guys. Like, hey, these are the guys that are going to carry us through. We need to stick with them guys. Because right now, it's basically our playoffs are starting now. Like, we've put ourselves in a situation where now we have to play at that sense of like, I mean, I remember David Ross in 2016, or not here, Joe Madden in 2016. He had like 4 guys that he went to in the bullpen the whole playoffs because he didn't trust anybody else. Like, that's the level where we need to get to, where we have our guys, and the rest of you guys, like, enjoy the show. You got a free ticket to a Major League Baseball game. You can sit out there in the bullpen and watch.
Yeah. Eat sunflower seeds.
I mean, hey, what's your go-to flavor, Jeff?
I like dill pickle.
I was going to say dill pickle. That's the right answer.
I think
I think the thing is, Mitch, like, I agree. I mean, I didn't get to watch the full game. I had my own, I was playing sand volleyball last night. So I've only caught some snippets here and seen what people have been saying on Twitter. But yeah, if fans can see that, like, you know, Merryweather was getting lucky, like, pull him, don't keep going. But at the same time, like you started that with, Merryweather is a good pitcher, and we've seen him be good. And I don't know how many appearances off the top of my head he's had since coming back from injury, but sometimes it takes guys a little bit of time. I mean, we saw it today with Matt Boyd. It took all of 1 start for him to be dominant.
Yeah.
A guy that's been rumored in conversations with the Cubs for a long time, going back to his days with the Tigers, and someone I would have liked to see the Cubs snap up. I can't remember how the Guardians got in this offseason, but to get back to my point about Merryweather, you have to give him opportunities, and you have to trust in him that he's going to get back on course. Again, I feel like his minor league rehab numbers weren't great. I feel like I remember
he had some faulty games. I remember even there. Chris, in the comments, we will get to your comment here when we talk game 2 tonight. We'll talk about it here in a little bit. I want to talk about Smiley facing Noel, but we're talking game 1 first.
Yeah, I just think, hang on, pulling up Merryweather's stats really quick. I want to look at his minor league stats here.
Does it say overused?
I'm not seeing that anywhere on here.
No.
But I mean, you've got to, especially because, like you said, Mitch, Madden in 2016 only had 3 or 4 arms that he went to in the bullpen. We saw what happened in Game 7 with Chapman being overused. So you have to, I mean, that's been the balancing act this entire season. We've talked about the bullpen over and over and over, not just this year, but for like the last 3 seasons. Merryweather was a guy for us last year. I think he's going to get back there. Is it frustrating to see this happen en route to him getting back? Absolutely, in a must-win game. But yeah, I mean, and you know, we've talked about it on previous shows too, Mitch. You mentioned some of the names that were also available, but we don't get the availability sheet the way that Counsell does at the beginning of every game. So we don't know which guys out of the bullpen told him, "Yep, I'm good to go today," or "No, I need to, I not today. Don't come to me today unless like totally necessary." So bullpens are fickle, man, as we know, and Counsell, as he said, is not the bullpen whisperer. But did he make the wrong decision yesterday? Maybe. But I would expect watch Merryweather have an outing this weekend against Toronto that just looks shut down. Watch him go like Friday and Sunday and just get like 4 Ks over 2 innings.
But even
We'll see.
like tonight, you start Patrick Wisdom at first base. Like, why are we taking out our version of Anthony Rizzo like this year? Like, I'm sorry, but Michael Busch needs to be starting at first base every single game. Or Bellinger maybe getting a spot start there. You need your best bats. And I love Patrick Wisdom, but you need to find a better place to get him his spot. And maybe the scouting report said, hey, like it's a lefty. Patrick hits good lefties well, but I don't know. Like, I want my best bats in the order.
We kind of went over it, a few episodes ago. I broke down Wisdom's performance against lefties over the last few seasons, and the OPS against lefties has continued to drop. Could that be because of lack of reps? Totally. And, that's another thing too, right? Like today, Counsell's saying like, hey, maybe Wisdom is a guy that I want in big pinch hit situations down the stretch. I've got to get him some at-bats to keep him relatively fresh. But yeah, I agree. I mean, there's got to be another way to get him in the lineup. Could he be a late pinch hit against a lefty? Because Michael Busch, I agree, he's been one of our best hitters all season. I mean, by WAR, I believe he's our best offensive player. Yeah. So you got to have him out there.
He did that the other. He
especially,
did
it, and you can't even make the art.
I think Wisdom got a start 2 or 3 games ago. It was the same situation. It's like whenever there's a lefty on the mound, he's getting Wisdom in there. It's like, why are we taking our best bat out of the order?
Right, because the splits don't matter, as has been hammered home by every Cubs person on Twitter and every Cubs podcast. Busch is the everyday starter, just like you said, Mitch, is Rizzo. That's a generous comp to say he's our Rizzo. He's a Rizzo light right now.
He's a young like first year Rizzo, but I mean, Michael Busch is a young guy. Like I think I like Michael Busch a ton.
I agree.
But now he's Dollar Tree Anthony Rizzo.
Right. I do want to bring up Chris's comments, Christopher's. Why was Smiley facing Noel? Smiley's been in that circle of trust when it comes to relief pitchers. Been really good the last 2 months. Like he's been. Now, I did say right before that at bat happened, I do not like this matchup because Noel's been hot. He hit 2 home runs yesterday, and I was like, I just feel like Smiley's gonna lob one of his curveballs in there, and Noel's gonna get it. And he got it. And I was like, I wish I wasn't right. But it's like in that situation, I mean, I wouldn't second guess Counsell there just because I was like, what was that? Was that the 6th inning when that happened? 7th inning?
7th, I believe.
7th.
No. Was it the 6th? He came in the 6th, didn't he? But
Yeah,
pitched
because he came in for
Assad to finish the 6th, I believe.
So he pitched 1 and a third. So yeah,
I will say though, to Christopher's comment, you look at Smiley's splits. He's faced 110 righties, 81 lefties. Righties are hitting 196 against Drew Smiley. So, yeah, I mean, you play the numbers there.
Yep.
He's given up 5 home runs to righties versus 2 to lefties. So, he's going to leave. If you leave something center cut, especially against a guy like Noel, which they're calling him Big Christmas on the broadcast. I think that's
an awesome nickname. That's a great nickname.
Awesome. It's awesome. Yeah, shouts out to Beth Mowens. I don't know if she's the one that came up with it, or if I'm sure Cleveland is calling him that, but that was great. But yeah, I mean, and even going back to last year, he was better against significantly better against right-handers. Faced a lot more right-handers than he did left-handers. So it's tough, man. I mean, like you said, Mitch, and like looking over the last 60 days, he's got a 1.78 ERA and a 1.11 WHIP. In the last 30 days, 1.42 ERA and a 0.55 WHIP. So, yeah, I think you take your chances in that situation. Noel is prone to strikeouts, and that sweeping curveball that Smiley throws, if he gets it down and in, you get swinging like Boyd got plenty of swings and misses on curveballs like that today, or slider, whatever, the 2-plane movement, whatever you want to classify it as.
Some with the help of the umpires.
Yes,
the umpires the last 2 days have been
that outside corner. They like that. Say had an at bat that was just a joke. Yeah. And they talked about it on the broadcast too. There was a curveball that missed outside by 2 or 3 inches, called strike. And then I think there was a called strike, or he fouled off a fastball or something. Then the next pitch is a slider below the knees, called strike. And then he strikes out on a slider that was in the zone, but he felt poor guy was off balance because he that shouldn't have been a pitch that he had to swing at. It was a competitive pitch, but he should have been ahead in the count and wasn't. So there's another, chalk up another example of Seiya getting screwed by umpires.
Well, even Haps at bat was the 7th or 8th. He gets down. The next pitch, he throws his little cutter that starts inside and runs out over the plate, and it's a strike, but it's low, and it gets called for a ball. So then he comes back with the same exact pitch, even lower, and it gets called for a strike. And happens okay, you established that pitch was a ball. He went lower, and you called it a strike, and then he gets rung up on an inside pitch that's a ball. And then Isaac Paredes starts this very next at bat on a fastball that's 3 inches outside, and he calls it a strike. It's that's 3 pitches that you've missed out of the last 4, Blue.
And it is a different ump from last night.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure most fans know that the umps rotate every night, but to go from last night's
quant at bat.
Oh my God. Yeah. To go from last night's umpire to tonight's umpire. Let's take a look at that crew, huh?
Yeah. But
make sure
these guys go.
Contacts.
Did these umpires go to the Angel Hernandez School of Umpiring?
I think must have.
All right.
Is it Angel's old crew?
First things first, you stare at the sun for 1 hour, and then you can't see nothing.
Hey, makes things interesting.
I do want to talk a little bit. So I was talking with my friend last night about just the Cubs offense the last couple weeks. And I know before the trade deadline, we were without Bellinger. We had Morel in this lineup. But since the trade deadline, getting Belly back, getting Paredes back. Paredes, like, I'm a huge fan of Paredes. Like, he works some great at bats. Like tonight, I think he went 3-2 every single at bat. Worked great counts, walks, takes his walks. Hit a hard line drive to get out tonight. That could have really been a huge start with the 7th inning. But like with him and Bellinger in this lineup, and then you have PCA who's got it going lately. Like it just lengthens the lineup. It's what you kind of expected this lineup to be early on, and then injuries kind of happen. And what kind of showed me, and as we were having the conversation with my friend last night, is that the depth just wasn't there this year to be able to make it sustainable over the 162, where Atlanta has the depth where they can have some injuries and weather that storm a little bit better, where Cubs couldn't do that. They couldn't weather that storm because they didn't have, I mean, Tauchman was great, but it's not like the guys that these other elite teams have. They're filling in. But it looks long right now. Like when you're facing the Cubs, like, and I don't know, like the Twin series kind of really showed me that when you had Belly in the lineup, you had Paredes, and you had PCA taking great at bats, and it's either home run or a triple. It seems like with PCA right now, but it's been fun to watch. The lineup, the offense has been fun to watch.
Yeah. I think the length is a really great point, and PCA, like I tweeted, so I saw Brendan Miller, right? Miller's his last name, CHGO. He tweeted something about PCA maybe sometime last week, and the next day, like PCA had another great game, and I tweeted something about it, you know, basically quoted Brendan. You know, I wanted to piggyback on his point, and it's been really fun watching PCA come around. And for the numbers, last 7 days, 836 OPS. Last 21 days, 798 OPS. You'd like to see the on base percentage get up a little bit. His OBP is only 306 in 21 days compared to 288 average. So that OPS has a lot of room to go upward if he can work some more walks. But I also think that maybe being aggressive in the count, you know, being aggressive early on might be what's getting him these hits. And obviously, you know, we want to see production at the bottom of the lineup. So if someone gets on ahead of him, if Dansby's on ahead of him, if Amaya gets on ahead of him, you want him swinging to try to drive those runs in. And that was something too. One of my buddies, I'm in another Cubs group chat, they said that they've loved the 1-2 punch of Nico and Dansby recently. And it has played really well. I tweeted out Dansby's stats last night from, you know, since the opening ceremony of the Olympics, called him Mallory Swanson's husband. He plays for the Chicago Cubs, that guy. But he's been so good. He's been so good. Hitless tonight, I believe. I closed out. I got the box score here.
Yeah,
hitless tonight, but obviously drove in the 1 run on a sac fly and got a walk. So, yeah. So, I mean, if Dansby's offense can continue to stay afloat, like you said, Mitch, that really lengthens the lineup. I mean, you've got then 1 through 7. Any of those guys can get on base. Obviously, Wisdom starting tonight, you know, not, you know, 0 for 2. But yeah, Dansby getting on. I like PCA down there. Amaya's been kind of coming around. I still don't think he's necessarily a solution at catcher. But depending on how he finishes out the season, we could see. Also, and pardon me if you guys spoke about this on one of the previous podcasts. When and how did we pick up Christian Bethancourt? Like, I was watching a game over the weekend, maybe, or last week, and I saw Bethancourt, and I was like, where did he come from? I know who the guy is, and he's been a successful utility player at times, but I was like, when did the Cubs snap him up?
That was like an end of July. When was that? It might have been back in like July 22nd, somewhere around there. But he had a huge home run against the Cardinals.
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that's when I was like, no kidding. Christian Bethencourt.
And actually, like the 1-2 punch of him and Amaya haven't been too bad. Like Bettencourt's throwing out a couple guys. Amaya's new swing, like cutting out the huge leg kick. Like I know he had a conversation with Nelson Cruz, and Nelson Cruz like told him like, hey, get the leg kick out of there. Just like go up on the toe, get the heel down, go. Like be short, quick to the ball. And it's made a huge difference. And like you said, I think next year Amaya's going to be the backup and they're going to go get somebody. Which I'm okay with Amaya being a backup. Like I'm totally
I think he's a very solid backup. He's last 7 days, 286, 286, 357. Last 14 days, 259, 276, 444. So as a catcher, that's fine. And as a backup, that's good. If you can bat 286 as a backup, that's stellar. We'll take that every day of the week when you start because you're a backup.
Yep. Okay, so start of the series, they were 3 games back. They're 4 right now. It looks like they might keep to just 4 games back because the Cardinals lost. The A's are beating the Mets 9-4. And the Braves and the Giants play each other. So it looks like they might stay that 4 games back. How many more? What does their record need to be with the remaining games for them to be able to make the playoffs?
I think they need 87 wins.
87 wins?
I do. I think you got to be plus 500 the last 6 weeks of baseball.
So we're at 120 games. So you got 42 games left for the Cubs.
Do we go to Toronto or does Toronto come to Wrigley?
Toronto comes to
At
Wrigley.
home. Yeah.
They better play some meaningful baseball because those guys are 10 games back of the wild card.
And they sold some pieces.
Yeah.
I mean, they still have Vladdy. They still have, I think Bichette is out. And they called up Billy Wagner's kid yesterday.
Yeah.
Or a couple days ago. They're all about the offspring of former major leaguers.
Apparently.
They love them.
Gary Varsho's son, Dalton Varsho. I mean, I want to even say Griffin Conine was in their system at one point. So yeah,
living through the 90s players.
Yeah.
Kids.
Prince Fielder's kid's going to be on there at some point.
Yeah.
He'll find his way.
I'm saying they need to go 26-16.
Be a little better than that.
So that gets them to 85 wins.
85.
Yeah, I think, especially considering their strength of schedule, and I saw laid out their strength of schedule compared to the rest of the wild card hopefuls. And the Cubs had the second easiest of all of the majors, I think, in remaining strength of schedule. I think this was before the Sox series. I think it's possible. We need the offense to bounce back.
Take some heat off the pitching staff, for Christ's sakes.
Right, and not even bounce back because yesterday the offense hit. Today they got shut down by Matt Boyd. Man, watching Emmanuel Clase in the ninth today, just dotting 100 mile-an-hour cutters at the knees, man. I think there was like a 101 cutter to Nico. That's the ball that Nico sliced down to third.
Yeah.
Can the Cubs get a guy like that? Who do we?
I believe in the offseason there was rumors that we were going to get Clase and Naylor.
Yeah.
That'd be nice right now because I think he's leading all major leagues in saves by quite a bit.
Oh, yeah, by a long margin, like a large margin.
Well,
yeah.
I'm going to be real honest. I haven't really looked at the standings a whole lot this season. And I was kind of looking at the record in the East, the AL East, and then I scrolled down here to the Central where Cleveland's at. How the hell do you get excited about baseball when you've only won 29 games?
You don't. You
No.
don't.
How are they selling tickets?
They aren't.
When Chicago
like-
comes into town, they sold tickets. They filled the same then.
Are they taking like beer coupons to the bottom of the seats? Jesus, that's horrid.
Yeah, they're my Sox fan friends are completely checked out of White
Depressed?
Sox baseball. Although I'm sure there was a slight spike in interest when they announced Grady Sizemore as the interim manager, which is I've always been a Sizemore fan.
Yeah,
I love that dude. He's the Brandon Roy of the MLB. The Greg Odom. He's the early odds Portland Trailblazers.
Yep.
Of the MLB. Yeah. Hey, at least we're not the White Sox.
Just think if we were doing a White Sox podcast, that'd be rough.
I've never watched like the CHGO White Sox pod. And I'm sorry to our Sox on tap guys. I just don't, especially when they're this bad. How can I mean, if you are a Sox fan and you're watching this, please watch their podcast and lament, sound off in the comments with them. Give them something to talk about. But yeah, man, it is rough. I feel good going into tomorrow. Don't even know who the probable starters are for the Cubs.
Cobb and Tyone.
Yeah. Alex Cobb feels more like a journeyman at this point. He could break off a really good start. I think he throws a nice splitter, I want to say, is his out pitch. But Tyone's been really solid. So if the offense, if the bats come,
I'm feeling confident about tomorrow. They did skip Hendrick's start, so I'm guessing he's going to start on Friday.
Friday 1:20 Hendricks. Oh man,
lining it up against those Blue Jays.
So when you look at the schedule, you have the Jays, the Tigers, the Marlins, Pirates, and Nationals here in the next couple series. Like those are all teams that are pretty much out of it. Like it's time,
extremely beatable.
It's time to put you put a good stretch here. Like win every series, sweep. You need to sweep at least the Marlins. They need to sweep
the Tigers too.
Sweep the Tigers. Like it's very doable. Like we could get hot, like the offense, like it. So it's like, yes, I get the Guardian series. We wanted it really bad because we were like, oh, we're right there. We're 3 games back. But it's like, we need to kind of like weather the storm. Hopefully we can pick up a win tomorrow and then go on a little run here. And things can get crazy. Like you think about this, like 3 weeks ago, we almost wrote this team off. Like we were almost at the point where like, but like I've kind of said the whole time, it's like the NL's kind of crazy because it's like 8 teams that are like stacked together that all of them, any of them, if they went on a run, could do it. And the Cubs schedule has helped them tremendously here. I just want to see, like we've talked about, meaningful games. I want to watch meaningful games here in September. We got it last year. We had some heartbreak. I'm willing to do it all over again. But let's do it. Let's have some fun. Let's get crazy. Any parting words?
Let's keep our heads up out there. We can't let anything get by us in the infield. Gotta stay locked in.
Anything from you, Jake?
Go Cubbies.
Cubbies.
Give us something to be excited about.
26-16. I think we can lose 16 more games. So let's keep track. Let's go on a hot stretch here. All right. Well, thanks for listening again. Like Jake said earlier, go check out all the On Tap Sports Network podcasts, whether it's Cubs on Taps, White Sox or Sox on Tap. Go check out the website again every Monday or Tuesday. Things are getting crazy in our personal lives, so we kind of got to move around to like Tuesday some with our podcast. So, but we're on the On Tap Sports Network YouTube channel. Make sure you're subscribed to that. And go Cubs! Thanks for listening.
Go Cubs, go. Good.